Hi, and welcome to Addition and Subtraction. This is Jody Daniels, and let's get started. I'm going to start with addition. Some of the key words that you will find in addition problems or story problems are add, of course, plus, which is the same as saying add, but it is also, this is the plus sign, and when you are bringing two groups together, and more when you are adding in more. So there are two ways to do addition. One way to look at it is to combine two amounts together, and that's where the key word is and. And another way is to have an amount that you're starting with and be bringing in more. So that's where the key word is more. So when you do add two groups together or bring in more to a starting number, you're going to end with a different number. That's where our keyword equals comes in, or total. Sometimes in a story problem you might hear the words all together. How many are there all together? Or how many do we have now? Those are the kinds of words you'll hear with addition. So let's go ahead and practice a couple of these different ways, starting with combining. So here is a problem that might be an example of a combining problem. I have two blue fish and I have three red fish. How many fish do I have all together? So you can see I said the word and. I have two blue fish and I have three red fish. So now I'm going to combine those two amounts to see how many I have all together. And I can do that by either counting on from my original amount, 1, 2, so I could say 2, 3, 4, 5, or I can just count all of the fish that I see there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that will give me my answer of 5. That's my total is 5, or I have 5 altogether, or now I have 5. Well, that will be in the more example. Onward to, okay, now let's do an example of bringing in more. So let's say there are two birds in the tree and three more fly in and join them. So you heard me say the keyword more. I started with 2, 3 more came in and joined them. So still addition, I'm going to combine these two amounts and I'm going to get a total, and it's going to be what I have now. Again, I can start with my starting amount, which is 2, and then count on 3, 4, 5, or I can just count what I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And my total is 5. I now have 5. I had 2 in the tree. I now have 5. So those are the two ways you can think of addition. You're either combining two amounts, blue and red, or you are bringing in more. I started with this amount. This many more came in. Let's go on and take a quick look at subtraction. Subtraction starts with an amount and you take away from it, or you're finding the difference between two amounts. So that's the two different ways to look at subtraction. Some of our keywords are subtract, minus, this is the minus sign, or less. And again, of course, difference is also one of our keywords there. So let's look at the two different examples of subtraction. Let's start with taking away from a starting amount. Okay, so I'm going to have a starting amount of 5. There were 5 pieces of candy. Now what's different is I'm not going to be bringing in more. I'm not going to be combining two amounts. Instead, I'm going to take away a certain amount. What I want to do when I take away is not make them completely disappear, because I still want to check to make sure I took away the right amount. So I'm just going to move them out of my counting area. So I'm starting with 5 pieces of candy. 2 of them were eaten. So I've taken them out of my counting area, but I still know that I took away 2. And then how many are left? You can see here where that is one of our equals things that we think of. How many are left now that I took those 2 away? So the total, or the answer, is 3. Okay, now let's take a look at difference between. So another way I can subtract to find the difference between something is, let's say the Rockies had 5 home runs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the Cubs had 2 home runs. What is the difference between, how many more home runs did the Rockies have? What's the difference between the Rockies home runs and the Cubs home runs? What I want to do here is, from my Rockies amount, I want to take away however many are already the same. So I think I'll take these 2 that are lining up. Okay, and I'll just move these out of the way. And of course, these ones are the Cubs, so I don't want to count them either. Do want to make sure these match. And so my answer is 3. The difference between, let me put these back for a second so we can take a look. The difference between 5 and 2 is 3. Okay. Another thing I could do is circle around these, match them up. Okay. So those are our 2 different ways of looking at addition and a couple of different ways of looking at subtraction. What we'll start doing in our next session, and going forward a few more, is some story problems where we're using that language that we were just talking about, more or less, or difference between, to start solving our problems. And we'll be using number sentences, or we'll definitely be using some manipulatives, some circles or something, to come up with our answers. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.